What is it that Warren Buffett is doing that's a little bit shocking? And I think we've got some really good answers for what he's doing. Join us on the Rebel's Edge. All right. It is the Rebel's Edge. We got Justin Nugent, the man who I didn't know till just a little while ago, found out that he is in sunny Hawaii, man. I mean, we are so jealous. Even though it's beautiful here, it's 80. It's going to look the same weather, but there's something about the people and everything about where you are, man. I'm jealous. So one of these days soon, I'm going to be out there to visit you out there, man.
I would love that. It's a peaceful, beautiful place.
Oh, man, it is. It is paradise. People say it all the time. It's not an exaggeration. It's for real. All right, we're going to jump right into it, Justin, because John's not here, and it's you and me, baby. We're going to get after this thing. So I'm going to hit you with the macro minute. Now, what do I think about the macro minute? Well, crude oil is really interesting because it was just in mid-July. We go back. It's not that long ago. It was 82.88. You know where crude got today? It hit a 52-week low, 67.30. I mean, that kind of says it all. And the fact that it's hit that low and not bouncing, not running, nothing. It's just that I think is pretty shocking. So that's my macro today because things are going to change because of what's going on in crude oil.
Yeah, I think it says something about what people think about the economy globally and here. I think that with the Libya news, it got that little pop, and then obviously it sold right back off. And gasoline is also at a low not seen since 2021.
Yeah, some 52-week lows and now even further back. Wow, that's amazing. All right. Today with the fantastic futures, we've got to hit a little bit of volatility. Volatility has been all over the place. We know that. This year has been crazy. We were stuck at 12 for the VIX for a really long time. We started to elevate up a little bit on different news items that were happening, and obviously the Fed and everything else. We slid up a little bit further. We were like 14 to 18, and now we find ourselves a little bit higher than that even. We did have that big jump at the early parts of August, but it's still sticky down here near 20. So I would say volatility right now between 18 and 22, that seems like a pretty accurate area for the range to be right now, and it doesn't seem to want to fall too fast, at least not yet, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think once we get more clarity on that CPI and on the FOMC, we'll probably see the VIX start to slow down, I would assume. But I agree. Right now, people want that protection. And just on that note, for a quick, fantastic future, if we look over at the Fed funds futures, which is what they price in for the cuts expected, despite all of the labor data news that we saw last week, they're still pricing in that 25 basis point move. And Pete, I was wondering if you think that that is going to be accurate for what they're going to do.
I do. I really do, because I look at this and I think Powell has been giving us the blueprint. He's been very honest. We look at him and he tells us what he really thinks. And I think a quarter point is what he'd like to do. Obviously, the one reason why 50 would make some sense possibly was all that talk about emergency cut just a couple weeks ago. I think a lot of that sort of made me start to think, well, they didn't do that, thank goodness. But I think that they're looking at the possibility of a 50 cent. Now, do they do that? Basis points? I'm not sure. But I think the quarter makes more sense to me. It was 50-50 just last Friday. Now it's 70% that it's going to be a quarter. Interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, next up we got Palantir. We're going to hit some of this stuff really quick. We got a lot to talk about in a little bit of time. 52-week highs today for Palantir, counterterrorism software. This one's big. This is a really nice move to the upside. I'll tell you what, the PE is the only thing that stands out for me that makes me a little bit nervous. It's trading about a 72 PE. That's a forward PE right now. That's price over earnings. The cash to debt of $4 billion is huge to me. That's really a very big positive. And then I look at cash flow over $500 million. There's a lot of reasons to look at this, along with the triple-digit growth that they're showing each and every quarter. It's a great stock. It's on a really nice run. I don't think it's over yet. What about you?
Yeah, I feel the same way. On Friday we got the news that they're going to be added to the S&P 500. That's big, particularly for them because they have about half the institutional ownership that the average S&P 500 stock does. It's about 41% to 80% on average. Additionally, I just love the technicals here. We've been talking about this in the Rebel Roundup for a while. We are long leaps in that service for this massive cup and handle that we've seen here, just brewing and brewing and eventually overflowing here to, as Pete said, all 52-week highs. Their all-time high is up at $45. They still have some runway to get up there. And lastly, we've seen a ton of UOA in this, from down at $20 and then at something like $23 and $28. And maybe they just came in and got some today. Maybe we can say that. Maybe we can't.
Yeah, we can. We're okay saying that. And by the way, that's unusual option activity, UOA, for anybody who's not or new to this whole thing. All right, next up, Inspire. Now, this one has a lot of reasons. The name actually fits very well. It's just a couple of miles away from me, right over here in Minnesota, Golden Valley, Minnesota. The stock is near 52-week highs. It opened today and got up to $225 a share. It's been last sitting around 212. That's still up 8%. It's been on a great move. Why is that? I'll let Justin tell you that. But I will say this: their sleep apnea, that's been a killer thing for them. But they're also talking about weight loss, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the GLP-1 thing is something that we've seen come and give a boost to Hims and give a boost to Novo and Lilly, and now Inspire is jumping on board. GLP-1 is the semaglutide, like, weight loss shots that are becoming very, very popular, Ozempic and Wegovy and all that. They have these non-invasive or minimally invasive sleep apnea implants, but what I'm more interested in for Inspire is just the fact that not a lot of people are really aware of this, are really trading this. They outperformed last week, up 9%. They're outperforming today, up another 9%. I think when you see a stock that not a lot of people are looking at, it makes you say, okay, all right, let me get in before they do.
Yeah, and I think those 52-week highs might get tested and might actually get exploded through. I mean, honestly, given what we're doing, and we know what happens with these weight loss drugs and all those kinds of things, people get pretty excited about anything having to do with weight loss, and they probably should. Although, you know what? There's a lot of things that people can do as well. But on top of that, I'm going to go with next, Big Lots. And we don't talk about this name very often, and I think it's for all the right reasons. This was a $70 stock. It's now trading at 50 cents. So there's some major issues. There's a bankruptcy issue. Nexus Capital is going to spend about $760 million to take them over. That's going to be a process, obviously. It just came down to the pandemic, the demands, and the competition. It was everybody from Wayfair to TJX to Walmart to Target, all of that competition. Big Lots just wasn't able to withstand it. They have 1,300 stores in 48 states total. They really have covered and blanketed the U.S., but the problem is the competition has just gotten to be too much. They can't keep up, and they're one of the losers because of what happened during the pandemic.
Yeah, you can't stand up and fight Walmart and Target and these titans of industry who can lower their prices and take a loss and not go under and just beat you down. And that's the story of why Big Lots is down 87.9% in 6 months. It's a tough ride for them to take. Yeah, there's not much else to say about Big Lots.
Yeah. All right. We're going to jump into American Express. Warren Buffett, that's his second largest holding. The stock is not too far from 52-week highs. The Oracle, once again, seems to be doing everything right. He really just does an amazing job. He's sold he sold pieces of Apple. He sold pieces of Bank of America. He still owns 12% plus on American Express. He owns 151 million shares of American Express. I think that says a lot. Their revenue growth, that's there. Their dividend growth, that's there. I mean, every box you want to check is getting checked, and the Oracle's still crushing it in American Express.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're really doing something that a lot of their peers are not. When we look at American Express versus B of A, Cap One, Citi, Discover, JP Morgan, their delinquency rates, the 30-day delinquency rates, AXP has the lowest of any of those by quite a lot. Additionally, they're doing a lot with like business to business work. They recently bought Cabbage, which is a line of credit product basically, and they use that for part of their business blueprint to let small businesses that aren't even their customers manage their overall cash flow positions. They're just really pulling all of the levers that they can to make sure that they stay one step ahead of the competition in their space. And I can see why Buffett loves it so much.
Yeah, it's impressive about the delinquencies too. That alone, I think, speaks volumes. All right, we're going to do a little bit of sports now, Justin. It's kind of fun. We got nothing in surfing, none of that just yet, but we'll get that next time you're on. But you look down to Brazil. Now, the NFL has been wanting to explore more and more of the globe, try to get more exposure, and I think they've done a very good job most of the time. But I think this was a huge mistake. They go down to Sao Paulo, and the players were told, stay in the hotel. If you decide to walk around outside the hotel, just make sure you're not holding your phone. They're going to put a gun to your head and grab your phone, then probably grab your wallet. And the players are all like, really? Well, they didn't sign up for this, right? I mean, they didn't sign up to go somewhere where potentially you could have a gun put in your face. So there was a lot of pushback, and I can understand that pushback as a guy who did travel around. I played in the World Football League. We played all over the world, literally, except we did not get down there. And I think they've got to start figuring this out. The NFL wants to go to China. They want to go to the Asian markets. They want to go to the African markets. They want to get everything. I get it, but it better be safe in the future. And by the way, even the surface that they were playing on, which was a soccer surface, but something about that surface was not good. The players were complaining about it. I don't think it necessarily changed this, but Jordan Love did hurt his knee down there. Just signed one of the biggest contracts of anybody ever in the NFL, and now he's got a knee issue. So I think there's a lot of reasons why the NFL might have to look at this a little bit more closely next time.
Yeah, exactly. The last time that I was on, we talked about how they were trying to add more games to the NFL per season. And now we're talking about how we're trying to expand our market share out to all these other countries, which, again, on paper, it's a great idea. I'm sure the people in Brazil would love to watch some football. But what's the common theme? It's that the NFL is just trying to take money wherever they can, often at the detriment of players and their health, unfortunately. And that's really the backbone of why the NFL exists. So I think they should probably pay attention to the most important thing about football, which is the people playing it.
They can't be greedy is the thing. They just can't be. They got to make sure that the players feel safe and are safe wherever they are. And that's their responsibility for sure. All right, next up, we got some college football, some NFL. I just wanted to see, there's a couple things interesting that happened Saturday. Notre Dame, top 10 football team, they lost. They were at home. They lost to Northern Illinois. That's not supposed to happen. That really is not supposed to happen. But Northern Illinois is not a bad football team. It's why they like to get these schedules like this once in a while to see, can you take down the giant? And in this case, it was Notre Dame, and they did. And basically, they didn't just take them down. They didn't do something lucky. They didn't just get a good bounce. They ran for 190 yards against Notre Dame, the Fighting Irish, and that's something that cannot happen. They owned the scoreboard in a lot of different categories. They had the ball longer. That's something that's really great. You keep it away from your opponent. They had 35 minutes where they had the ball to the 25 minutes that Notre Dame had the ball, and they executed, and they ran the ball well enough. They kept the ball away from Notre Dame. They win the game down there. Absolutely amazing to watch. I thought it was incredible. And the excitement from the coach and the emotion from the coach, he was literally crying on the field. He was so excited about all his guys and what they were able to do. And then you go over to the NFL. Now, the NFL was pretty interesting. Dallas Cowboys went up to Cleveland. It was sold out. Everybody was excited. Deshaun Watson, everybody thought that, hey, he's finally here. He's able to be the guy that we paid all that money to about 2 or 3 years ago that came with a lot of headaches. Well, he threw 2 interceptions. They got blown out of their own stadium. And I would say that the Dallas Cowboys, who just paid their quarterback the biggest check ever in the NFL, I'd say he actually earned it because he started off solid. Last year he finished solid, except for playoffs. This is always a problem for him. But Dak Prescott is a heck of a football player. The Dallas Cowboys, they look like they want to try to challenge for the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah, exactly. Just to touch on the NCAA real quick, I like what you had said when we were talking earlier. You said if you have to put a direction in the name of your school, it's probably going to be the underdog. So, props to Northern Illinois, number 25 out of the top 25,
Mhm.
for coming in and beating Notre Dame and really just performing, coming out strong.
Yeah, and you know what? Fans don't always understand it. It's a big deal, and that's what makes football still a lot of fun, basketball a lot of fun at the college level because every once in a while David versus Goliath happens, and every once in a while David wins, and they did this past weekend. Now they're ranked number 25. That's pretty impressive. Hey, Justin, really appreciate you coming on, man. Always fun. We always have a good time. And you might be on it again tomorrow if I can't wrestle my brother back in here. But I think he might be back, but you never know. So we'll see. Folks, have a great day of trading.